Okay, so it is my privilege and pleasure to introduce our new president of the North Carolina Federation of Republican Women. I have met and have known Zan for a number of years, and what strikes me as most important is this is one of those cases of sometimes it doesn't matter how much you know as long as you're really enthusiastic. But Zan is that special person who is incredibly enthusiastic but is also smart as a whip.
That's right.
And she is connected and she knows people and she can she can utilize, think of the word, I'm working on it. She can take someone else's knowledge and can use that to our advantage. We are counting on you, Zan. Let me just say that right up front, that we're counting on you in the coming year, and particularly the following year, to lead us into victory in 2016. 2015 and 2014 and 16. We are certainly looking forward to your being in your office, and I will introduce you to Zan Bunn.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a nice and a wonderful and warm welcome from everyone. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to be with you here today. Just to see so many old friends, old acquaintances, familiar faces, some new faces and some new folks in this beautiful place, on this beautiful mountain, in this beautiful state, at this beautiful time of the year. It is my pleasure and my honor to be with you. I'm going to get into a few remarks in just a moment, and I'm going to rely upon my electronic devices to help me so that I can share with you as much as possible in the time that we've been allowed. But I can't begin without, again, saying what an honor and a treat it is for me to have been invited by you. Kathy plans ahead, and so we discussed this many months, many moons ago in order to make it possible for me to be here today, and I've been looking forward to it for all of that time. Only later did I actually become the president of the Federation, but upon my election, Kathy was prompt in asking on the schedule, and so this, as I said, is much anticipated. With your permission, and as I thank you for your hospitality on every level. I've been greeted warmly, both when I arrived late last night and also all day today. It is a high honor and a distinct privilege to serve the Federation as your president. And I have to thank each and every one of you here in your local club for everything that you do to support our Federation, your club, your party, and your community. We celebrate transitions and new beginnings, and I am grateful and I am blessed. And let me also say that I covet your prayers as I go back down the mountain, as I go back to my home. This is a big state, and I travel a lot. I will be traveling more, and so I need protection, and I need prayers and good wishes to get every place that I need to be, as do each of you, no matter how far we are traveling. Now, I am very thankful to my family, and I shared these remarks at the installation in November in Raleigh. The power of girl power. Sorry, gentlemen, but I got to talk about girl power for a second. The perseverance and hard work of my dearly departed grandmother, who would have, and her life journey, which has made my own life easy. My sister, well, it's always been my sister and I, staying one step ahead of our little brother, whose nickname was Boss Man. And now the fourth generation in that girl power is my niece. Her name is Reagan. A little story about how she got that name ended up with my sister explaining to her that she was named after a very good president, and she remarked at age 4, better than George Bush, because that was her president at that time. My Reagan is 12 now, but when she was 9, 5 years after she made that comment, she was overheard sharing with a playmate in the back seat of the carpool things I'm afraid of: sharks, snakes, spiders, and Obama. Well, we all know now why Reagan made such prophetic declarations, and we have daily headlines that remind us of what we have to do to get ourselves in a position to defend and basically save our country. To that little one, I am Aunt Zan, and everyone needs an Aunt Zan. The myth from the Democrats is that everyone needs an Uncle Sam. But the difference between Aunt Zan and Uncle Sam is that Aunt Zan gets to choose the unfunded liability that she picks up for Reagan, but Barack Obama's Uncle Sam pays for everything. Y'all aren't laughing. Are you just shocked at that? I digress. I have to give a bit of thanks and definite tribute to Dina Barnes, who's our immediate past NCFRW president. Dina served our federation admirably, winning awards and recognition for our state, leading us to victory in 2012 in North Carolina as never before. Our recent recognition at the NFRW Biennial Convention in Louisville is testament to the hard work that Dina put forth and the other leaders that she had the opportunity to work with. I thank each of you who has stepped up and served for your club, and every effort that you put forward as a member or as a club leader contributes to the success of our federation. Congratulations to all of the outgoing and the incoming officers, and we'll have a moment to swear them in just a little while. But please merge with me in the fast lane so that we can travel fast, cover much ground, and enjoy the ride. Everyone here, many of you, have shared kind words with me, encouraging sentiments, positive reinforcement, uplifting thoughts over the years of my involvement, and I am most appreciative of your supportive spirit. A little bit about how we got here. The National Federation of Republican Women is an auspicious and accomplished organization which turns 75 this year. What a rich history and tradition we have to be proud of. We must know our history, we must check out our traditions, and we must share them with others. Our very own North Carolina Federation of Republican Women is celebrating 60 years this year, at least until next year when we turn 61. And we've come a long way. We have much work to do. Both our national and state federations sponsor scholarships and support young women in pursuit of goals. We support candidates in elections. We support ideas of freedom and liberty, just as our founders would demand. We are, in many ways, the last line of defense in protecting the miracle of America. A special thank you and appreciation must go out to past NCFRW presidents. Some of you may know these names, these presidents whose shoulders we stand on. Ann Hickman, Mary Alice Warren, Alma Tillman, Ginger Alexander, Margaret King, Marcia Spiegel, Nancy Mazza, Valerie White, Dina Barnes, and others. It is because of these leaders and our history we must never forget our origins and from whence our organizational authority comes. Sometimes your local GOP wants to co-opt you, frankly, because you're Republican women and they need you, Republican women. NCFRW must embrace the best of the present, the best of the past, and the best of our future, the best of the best. And as important as looking backward is, we must also look forward. Here's a recent sampling. The College Republican National Committee did a poll, and the results warned that the party's primary message of cutting taxes and reducing the size of government failed to resonate. In fact, in one of the polls, 54% of young voters said taxes should go up on the wealthy, while only 3% said taxes should be cut for the wealthy. Bashing big government also didn't play well and was even damaging, according to some of the focus groups. Ladies, we need to do a better job of communicating our principles. We need to do a better job of communicating how what we work hard for matters to every individual, young, old, young. Our history and our culture needs us. Ponder this. John Kerry is now your Secretary of State. Samantha Power praises Hanoi Jane Fonda at the UN. Al Gore invented the internet, but was recently too busy with massage therapists to help Barack Obama's website.
That was fast.
We live in the land of Anthony Weiner and Elliot Spitzer, but we also live in the land of Billy Graham, George Beverly Shea, and Cliff Barrows.
Amen. They're all on that.
We live in the land of Charlie Sheen and Charlie Krauthammer. We live in the land of the Kardashians and the Duggars. We lived in the land of Jay-Z and Beyonce, but also Dr. Ben Carson.
Yes. Yes.
How familiar are you with Facebook, Twitter, Hulu, YouTube, Pandora, Vine, Instagram, Snapchat, and Pinterest? We've got to get up with some, maybe not all, but some. Ask anyone what they are. Many of you share my love for coffee. And while plain old black coffee is good enough for me, it's no longer good enough for our culture. The proliferation of Starbucks. Where's the closest Starbucks to here? Is it many miles away?
2 hours.
But the proliferation of Starbucks and coffee shops which serve Starbucks drinks. You just don't have coffee anymore. You have lattes and mochas, ventis, talls, frappuccinos, etc. If you consider yourself Republican, that is no longer enough. You must also consider yourself American, conservative, Tea Party, and Republican. We have to work with our local GOP groups without losing our Republican women brand, identity, history, and purpose. I have been asked by many about vision and goals for the future of the Federation. These are interesting times that we live in, and we now know, think about this, we now know we lost the 2012 election. It is still hard to deal with, even 1 year beyond. Despite North Carolina's own success in those elections, we still lost the 2012 election. 2014 looms large. We must do more, better, stronger, and faster. And if you took the word vision, I'll take a moment with the word vision, and you matched the letters with words that might work to help us focus on the future, just like you have to focus on the eye chart in the eye doctor office. The V could stand for volunteers. We never have enough volunteers. If you say you have enough volunteers, please take it back. The I could stand for ideas. The S could be for smiles. Because if all you have to put on in the morning is a smile, then it's going to be a better day than if you choose not to put on your smile, even when you're looking at Democrats. The I could be for information, because it is imperative that we get good information at all times. You all are so far from Raleigh that you probably don't get all the information from Raleigh. Not that what's going on in Raleigh is more important than what's going on here. And some of what's going on in Raleigh is not really good, so you might not want that information. But I just am always reminded when I travel this far from Raleigh that there are a bunch of people in Raleigh that don't know how far this is. And that have probably never been here before. And that don't remember exactly that good information could be found here as well. The O in vision could stand for organized. We must be organized like never before. We must organize ourselves. We must organize our club. We must organize our area. We must organize whatever entity that we're involved in order to achieve our maximum result. And the N could stand for new. It is always good to have a new, fresh perspective. And we'll get that shortly after the beginning of a new year. In January, there's always a fresh thought in a new year. But we must battle every day. And some of you may have been taken aback at my response to the impromptu question that I was given about the Facebook page, but those who know me were probably not surprised at that succinct and direct response. If you have an idea, call me or text me or send me an email. If I call you, please say yes. I am an American, I am a North Carolinian, I'm a Republican in that order. I love my country, my faith, my freedom, my liberty, my family. And I am outraged at what is happening to my country. The best way to fight back is to better organize through Republican women. And that's one of the reasons why I've accepted the challenge and stepped up to this leadership position, which I've been honored to be granted. The more powerful that we are as a group, the more strength that we can use to fight back. Every day is a battle. We must recognize that we do not get a break. We do not get a real rest. We must motivate ourselves and inspire others every day to educate themselves and to join us in this fight. Do you know how hard it is to ask people who left everything on the battlefield in November of 2012 to work harder, to work more? It's not as hard as answering to General Washington about what has happened to his country. And not as hard as explaining to that niece when she casts her first vote in about 6 years about what things used to be like. 2014. Here are just a few quick things. And we can talk a little bit more, or maybe not so much more, because we could just say it and be done with it. In 2014, we have to find more Republican women to run for office all across our state. I met a Republican woman candidate for district attorney in your area today. And I'm inspired by that, because that means that there will be a choice, provided she is your nominee. There will be a choice against the Democrats. And I have nothing against Republican men, but I will tell you that when you hear in the headlines every day that there's a war on women, well, we need women speaking for the Republican Party and speaking for conservative principles. And one of the ways is to have candidates step forward to present themselves for office. So if you know of other Republican women that you can encourage in any part of North Carolina, please let me know. I'll try to help them as well. We have to preserve our majorities in the North Carolina House and North Carolina Senate. It's never happened before that we have historic supermajorities in both of those chambers. Each of those representatives and those senators was elected on their own in their own districts, and the voters of their districts sent them to Raleigh in historic numbers. But part of that is because the voters were sick and tired of what they saw happening for up to 140 years in our state. We need to support and elect Republican judges. There will be on the ballot in 2014 4 Supreme Court races and 3 Court of Appeals races in North Carolina. The names that you will come to know are Mark Martin, Bob Hunter, Ola Lewis, Eric Levinson, Donna Stroud, who's in my home club, Wake County Republican Women, Paul Holcomb from my area as well. There is nothing, I think, more important than helping to elect Republican judges and conservative judges. Because when there is an electoral contest and when there is a dispute, as there have been over the years in our own state and even up to the minute in the state of Virginia, if I can digress for just a moment. In the state of Virginia, Ken Cuccinelli lost his race for governor. Some of you may have even helped him, or you may know the Cuccinelli family. The lieutenant governor candidate lost in the state of Virginia. But the third position in Virginia, the Republican candidate was a gentleman named Mark Obenshain. Mark Obenshain was leading the Democrat on election night. Mark Obenshain was in a pitched battle until the race results were certified about 10 days ago, I think. And he is behind the Democrat by a fraction of votes, a handful of votes out of 2 million votes cast. I can't remember the number right now, but it's like 115 or 95, a very small number compared to 2 million votes cast. And so upon the certification of that race, Mark Obenshain had to make a decision about what his action would be. And he decided to fight. So he is in a court matter at the moment challenging the results of the Virginia Attorney General race. Now, at the end of the day, how is that race going to be decided? We hope by the law and by the judges involved in the case. And while it's not our own state, we have enough examples around our state where the margins of victory or defeat were in the single digits or small enough that the matter was decided by the courts. And who has to hear that matter or preside over that matter? It's judges. So judges should be near and dear to Republican women, and I thank each of you for anything that you've done in the past to help our Republican judges. They appreciate it. I know that for a fact as well. And the last electoral matter that I've left for the 2014 ballot is that senator named Kay Hagan. We will nominate someone to run against Senator Hagan. And when the Republican Party nominates someone to run against Kay Hagan, we will work every day to make sure that North Carolina replaces Senator Hagan, who has not represented us well. And some would say she's not represented herself well. If she wants to stand with Barack Obama, and if she wants to support Obamacare, go for it. The people of North Carolina will learn about where she stands. Our Federation website is ncfrw.com. I hope you visit it. My name is @Zan Bunn on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. I ask you to thoughtfully and prayerfully consider what your role and your involvement will be in the next quarter and in the next year. Step up when asked. Step beyond where you think you can go. Join with me to convince others to join us and help you. Because while I might not meet those helpful individuals in your community, those future members of this club in your community, I won't have the pleasure of convincing them, and I would twist their arm just a little, to join your club. You will meet them, and you must be inspired every day to ask for their help and to ask for their assistance so that we can achieve the goals that we've set forward. And again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for the opportunity to be with you today. I thank you for your warm hospitality and your warm welcome. And I hope you have a very, very safe and blessed holiday. Thank you.